Hello everyone. As Laura said, my name is Beth and I'm an editor and the production lead for the 19th Century Stage. So I've been working on this for the project for the past year, so I'm really looking forward to talking to you about it today and to see it published in a few weeks' time. So the 19th Century Stage is a multi-archive resource revealing the shifting and expanding theatre world of the 19th century in the UK, USA and Australia. You can see a sneak peek of our homepage on the screen here. The resource explores topics including the development of theatres and design innovations, theatre management, production, costume and set design. Collections of theatrical ephemera highlight the huge expansion of printed and visual resources, showing how audience experienced the stage and how spectacular entertainments drew crowds across the country. A broad range of theatres and genres are covered, highlighting the growth of popular theatre productions such as ballet, music hall, farce and pantomime, the rise of melodrama and the literary histories of 19th century and Shakespearean plays. The collections also highlight the emergence of the celebrity and explore the development of theatrical careers, offering insights into well-known individuals of the day, including celebrities, playwrights, critics, producers and actor managers. So there are 8 source archives from across the UK, US and from Adelaide in Australia. So the full list of these is on the screen on the next slide, if we could have that please. So theatre collections from these archives include a range of documents, such as prompt books. For example, we have 122 prompt books from the Folger Shakespeare Library. We have printed plays and manuscripts, including the manuscripts of Victorian dramatist Henry Pettit. We have programmes, playbills and posters, which I'll talk to you more about in a minute. Theatre scrapbooks, such as the scrapbooks of Wilfred Neal, who's the founding member of the Adelaide Literary Theatre, the oldest surviving amateur theatre company in South Australia. There's financial documents and correspondence, particularly relating to theatre management. And we have published books and periodicals on theatre, particularly from the Malcolm Morley collection at Senate House Library in London. The resource is also highly visual, with many photographs, illustrations and toy theatre prints. There is artwork by poster artist Alphonse Mucha and by Pamela Coleman-Smith, some of which you'll see on a later slide. She was an illustrator and artist best known for illustrating the Tarot deck, and who also worked in theatrical design, being taken in by the Lyceum Company, travelling with Henry Irving and Ellen Terry, working on costume and stage designs. Every document in the collection has been tagged with one of these document types so that they can be easily filtered, and every document has also been tagged with the relevant theme or themes to enhance browsing. So the list of themes, which you can see in the middle of the screen there, highlights the broad scope of the resource, from class and society and gender and theatre to publicity and reception and touring in empire. So I was asked to pick some highlights from the resource, which is very difficult for me as there are so many. So today I just will spotlight a few of our collections. The first of these is this Brady collection from Christchurch, Oxford. So Francis Bridgewood Brady was a theatre enthusiast born in China in the late 19th century. He went to Oxford in 1909 and left his collection to Christchurch. The materials are regarded as quite a hidden gem, and around a quarter of it is unique. There is no formal listing or finding aid for this collection, and many items lack shelf marks, so it has unfortunately been quite overlooked by researchers due to this lack of documentation. But it's highly visual, as you can see from these lovely images, and includes watercolour portraits and illustrations, music title posters, colourful toy theatre prints, or scenes and characters. These prints, which were designed to be cut out and performed in miniature theatres as parlour entertainment for children, include the black and white penny planes and the very bright 2-piece colours. We also have many of the accompanying books of words, which were the abridged versions of popular plays at the time. The collection also includes 32 tinsel prints, which you can see a couple on the screen, which could say was the adult version of toy theatre. So they were etched portraits of stage personalities, painted with watercolour and then decorated with brightly coloured tinsel, metal foil, beading or fabric. The finished portraits were often displayed in frames as these ones from Christchurch were. And to avoid causing any damage by removing these prints and to display them as they were intended, we have actually captured all of them in their frames in a light tent, which has maintained a sense of a 3D object. This collection is accompanied by an introductory essay to the collection on the site by Katie Noble. The second collection I will spotlight today is the Lyceum collection from the Royal Shakespeare Company archives. This is the only collection that RSC hold that isn't about the theatre or the company itself. It's a collection compiled by Bram Stoker and offers a new insight into his career. In addition to being the well-known author of Dracula, he also managed London West End's Lyceum Theatre and was a personal assistant and manager to actor Henry Irving. The collection contains a diverse range of material on the running of the Lyceum in the second half of the century and on Irving's career and Stoker's work with him. It covers Lyceum Company productions in London and on tour, including to America, and there's also material relating to Irving's leading lady, Ellen Terry. The material includes correspondence, speeches, programs and plays, press cuttings, menus, and seating plans. The resource also includes an introductory essay on this collection by SBT curator Jim Ranahan, emphasizing its potential for research in various areas of study. And is also supported by further sources on the Lyceum and on Irving from the George Belmore collection at the University of California, Davis. Belmore was closely associated with Irving, and his collection includes original scripts and lighting plots at the Lyceum, as well as the artwork, which I mentioned earlier. So here's one on the right there by Pamela Coleman-Smith of both Henry Irving and Ellen Terry. So the final collection I will highlight is the Street Literature collection from John Rylands Research Institute and Library at the University of Manchester. So these were the items that were handed out to the public on the streets or hung up in public places, including broadsides and playbills. Playbills were the main form of advertising in the first half of the century, but their ephemeral nature means that many have often not survived or they've been somewhat underutilized in research. The 19th century stage includes many scattered throughout the collections, as well as this full collection from John Rylands, dating largely from the early 19th century and covering performances across the UK. Manchester and London theatres are well represented, though many other theatres or places of entertainment are included. The collection also holds 84 playbills relating to portable or travelling theatres, mainly in Lincolnshire, Hertfordshire and Cambridgeshire. We have an essay written by Dr. Anne Featherstone highlighting these travelling theatre playbills, and another by Michael Gamer and Devon Parker on how to use the playbills in research, which accompanies these primary sources. So finally, I just wanted to briefly mention the supporting content and the research tools in the 19th century stage to aid in teaching and researching. So these include visual exhibitions, which showcase a selection of our visual highlights from the documents. We also have guides to archival collections and thematic guides, which give brief introductions to the theme and accompanying links directly to relevant source material. We have 11 essays and videos in total, some which I've already mentioned throughout the presentation. They're all commissioned from academics and experts in the field, providing introductory and contextual information on topics such as representations of race, class and spectatorship, and travesty or cross-dressing on the stage, as well as highlighting relevant documents. There are biographies of a selection of key figures in 19th century theatre that are featured in the documents in the resource. And there are search directories enabling browsing by collection of theatre, production name, production genre, playwright, or author. We also have this exciting interactive map, which you can see a screenshot of on the screen, which explores the theatres in the UK, US, and Australia that feature in the resource and chart the rise of theatre building throughout the century. So that's been a whistle-stop tour of the 19th century stage. Hope you agree, this is a rich interdisciplinary research tool for social and cultural studies of the long 19th century, and it expands AM's portfolio of theatre resources. With AM Explorer, it's cross-searchable with collections such as 18th century drama, Victorian popular culture, Royal Shakespeare Company archives, and Shakespearean performance for a broader theatre study. So thank you for listening.